Welcome to Daily Gospel Reflections with Dr. Ben Safransky on this third Wednesday of Lent. Today's reading, I think, is a really challenging one because what they're talking about can be less familiar to us. It's really rooted in something that isn't much of a concern for Christians anymore, although I'll get to what I think it says to us in a minute. The question really at the heart of this gospel passage is a question that was very important to early Christians about whether Jesus, as the Messiah, was getting rid of the old Jewish law, what they refer to as the law and the prophets, and replacing it with something else. To the Jews, the law and the prophets, basically what we think of as the Old Testament, was like the entirety of how they knew to interact with God. And that included things like commands for ritual sacrifice of animals and crops. It included the commandment of circumcision. It included the food laws, a lot of things like that. So the question that a lot of early Christians had, especially Jewish Christians, was, is Jesus just getting rid of all these laws? Jesus says absolutely not. He is fulfilling them. Well, what does that mean in light of the fact that Christians actually no longer follow some of those laws? Well, if you want to think about fulfillment, I would suggest that a good place to start would be thinking about something like the way a relationship progresses from dating to engagement to marriage. And when you get married, are you eliminating the relationship that was there before? Well, no, of course not. I mean, that'd be a weird thing to say. But now that person is your spouse, your husband or wife, and no longer a boyfriend or girlfriend, fiance, right? There's more. The relationship ideally is supposed to get bigger, fuller, more complete. You'll do new things that you didn't do before you were married. And maybe some things that you used to do will kind of drop off. But the whole idea is that the relationship goes to a new level, gets deeper, it's fulfilled. So what does this say to us today? I think one thing that this passage can do for us is it can be an antidote to a way of thinking that separates Christianity from moral standards. I know that in the Catholic Church now, and in Christianity more broadly, we talk a lot more about the love of God than, let's say, my mom's generation, my grandparents' generation talked about the love of God, right? We don't talk as much about commands, rules, precepts, or obligations now. Those things are there, but we tend to focus more on love. And there's a way to spin that in a negative direction. There's a way to take that to say, Jesus teaches us to love one another. So that means do whatever makes you feel good, right? Or to just have my own idea of what love is and kind of follow that. But the reality is that since God knows us and completely loves us, he wants what is best for us. And he knows that there are some things that are good for us and some things that are bad for us. That's why we have the moral laws, the commandments, and the precepts of the church. For example, the church telling us that we should go to confession once a year. So today I want to challenge you to ask, is there a part of the law, quote unquote, that I've been ignoring? A part of what God tells me through scriptures, through the teaching of the church, that maybe I've been avoiding, putting off, or trying not to listen to. This could be good food for a Lenten examination of conscience, maybe in preparation for yearly confession. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.